Hey guys, okay, this is making like a shadow on my face. Okay, and get this bomb frontal for no reason, so let me let it show while I do my video. Okay guys, so today I'm gonna make my video that has been highly anticipated, especially by my close friends. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my condition that I shared with my Instagram close friends. First, I have a condition called uterine didelphys, which is aka double uterus, aka double vagina, whatever you want to call it, where I pretty much have two. Okay, so the difference between a uterine didelphys, double vagina, and a regular vagina, this is a good replica. I forgot I had this right now. This is a good example of the double vagina. So this is your regular one, which is U-shaped. This is the double one, which is... You see that septum in the middle that's kind of separating it? They do have a surgery procedure called the uterine septum surgery for those who want to get it removed so that they don't risk the complications that you risk having during pregnancies, which are very frightening. That made my pregnancy a whole lot harder, having to another thing to stress about, because if you've been pregnant before, if you have kids, you know that you don't need to be stressing about nothing, and everything is already making you stressed out anyway. So just imagine being told you have a condition that's out of your control that may just make you lose your baby. Oh, you don't believe in God? You don't have a relationship in God? Baby, you will when you calling on him, when the doctor telling you, oh, it doesn't look like your baby is growing too well in the uterus she's in. She's in a different uterus than your son was in. He was in the larger side. She's on the smaller side. We don't think her head's going to be able to grow, the size it needs to, with her body. Well, I'm a believer in God, and in the Bible it says there's nothing too hard for him, and there ain't, because I had two beautiful healthy babies that I was told I would have to get a C-section. I didn't have to get no C-section. I had both of my babies vaginally, and no ripping. Okay, now my son, they had to snip. But my daughter, she slid right on that. Y'all, my son was a near-death experience for me. My daughter, which was supposed to be the more complicated pregnancy for me, was the most easiest for me. And I also read a book that really helped me with my pregnancy, and I will be sharing that with y'all in the comment section. I highly recommend you get it. I actually got recommended to it by a friend of mine and her mom had painless births and was telling me how she did not feel pain when she was going into delivery. And I was like, oh, tell me how, She recommended that book to me, and when I tell y'all, I had my baby and I did not scream when I pushed her out. I didn't scream. I cried. Ain't gonna lie, I cried because I was expecting so much more pain. But it's so crazy how pain is in the brain. But okay, that's beside the point. Back to my condition, my double vagina that you don't have, but I do. Okay, but let me stop all that bragging, because I'm going to talk about the cons as well. What they don't tell you is that not only do you have one vagina and one period, well, you don't have one period. You have two vaginas. That means you got a period for each. So you got two periods. So that's the most bad part about it. And another thing is, the more you get to know your body, you will learn your different vaginas. Like, I know my different ones, My partner knows my different ones. Sometimes he may not, but I will. I'm like, hey, go to the other one. The other one's more comfortable than this one right now. You can really tell the difference and distinguish the difference once you really learn your body. And but yeah, it's a 2-in-1 deal. And I can't speak for anybody else, but I've never had no, I don't want to jinx myself, so I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say. I may have to crop that out. I don't know how to do all this, but I'm gonna learn. Okay, anyway, but with this condition, Well, with the regular pregnancy, if you have a regular single vagina, you do not get an ultrasound at every one of your at every one of your prenatal appointments, because you just don't. They cost too much, and most insurances don't want to pay for an ultrasound every appointment. I believe it's like one per trimester. I don't know, because I'm not in that category. Why? Because with my condition, I can't even go to my regular OBGYN that I go for my prenatal checkups for my ultrasounds. I had to get an ultrasound every week of my pregnancy. You know how stressful it is going to the doctor every week? Every week of my pregnancy, I'm getting an ultrasound just to make sure my baby is growing properly in that uterus. And it was like really stressful, because some days I didn't get a good report. Some days I did get a good report, and I'm more of a positive thinker than my fiance, so I didn't even share with him how my appointments went with my daughter. And thankfully, we were in the middle of a pandemic, so I would just be like, everything's fine, not even knowing how the outcome may be, just because I don't even want him putting no negativity or no bad energy, or not having hope that everything will go just fine, because he doesn't have the faith that I have. I'm on a whole nother level. I know that, I know the power I withhold. So, I don't put no one in a position to, to speak on anything that I may have to rebuke. So, anyway, I didn't tell him about the complications, because I knew that, that wasn't going to be my outcome. That wasn't going to be my story. You really got to put it out there. When the doctor says this is how it's going to go, you got to know. Unless you don't believe everything the doctor says, you got to speak it out your mouth. I pray. I touched my belly, and I spoke over my child before my child got here. Everything, how my pregnancy went, how my children are, I spoke it into existence. That's how I know how much power is in my tongue alone. But whole nother story. Anyway, back to my double thing. I be getting so far gone. But anyway, trying to make sure I didn't leave anything out when it comes to the double vagina, because I had so many questions about it. Someone said, how is sex, and can you tell, or how does it feel having two vaginas? Someone wanted to know, and I don't mind answering that question. Okay, I can't speak over the sex for anybody else. I really can't. I can just speak on my own experiences, of course. But sex for me is a lot different than I know it is probably is for you guys, only because I know my body so well. My partner knows my body so well. So we know the different holes, we know the different vaginas. Sometimes he'll go in the smaller one. Sometimes he'll go in the more larger one. But at the same time, both of mine are smaller than your average one, because I have 2 in 1. So it's it's so weird. I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes I have to tell him, go to the other. You're in the wrong one. This one not too comfortable right now. Sometimes it don't matter which one. He can go in this one, and it won't matter. But sometimes it is uncomfortable, because I have a Cuban, and it can get uncomfortable sometimes, and we have to reposition it. So and every girl probably have that issue sometimes, but not with 2, So I do think I have a much higher sex drive than the average girl. I don't know if it's my double vagina, if it's genetics, if it she get it from my mama. But for real though, I don't know if I just get double horny. Oops, I don't know if I can say that on here, but I'm going to warn this video as explicit before you watch it. Oh yeah, another thing is, if you are farther along in your pregnancy and you want to check and see if you have, if you find out you were pregnant and you were already kind of far in your pregnancy, you still may not even know you have uterine didelphys, because when it's shaped like a U, think of it like this. If a baby is growing in this one, the uterine is going to expand, which is going to kind of smush that one away. So later in my pregnancy, it almost got to the point where they couldn't even see the other uterus. The doctor was like, it was getting smaller and smaller to the point where it was almost invisible. So imagine if, girls who waited out in their pregnancy to get an ultrasound, they won't even know if they have a double vagina. And some women only get ultrasounds in their pregnancy or further along in their pregnancy or whatever. And you would not even know. So I think that's crazy. And the type of ultrasound, if you got like a vaginal ultrasound only, you wouldn't know, because it would just go up one side. You literally have to be on top to see it, like to see the double uterus. And I think, okay, I already done hit my 10-minute limit. So I said this video was going to be short. I didn't want to make a long video. If y'all have more questions, leave them in the comments. I'm open and free to answer whatever y'all want. I hope I did cover everything. And like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, and I will be very active back in the comments.